All right, we are live. Hey, everybody. I'm so sorry we're late. Had some
Hello.
difficult. So, I know I hate being late. I really don't like it, but it seems to be happening every time I go live lately.
It was my fault this time. You can blame me.
No, well, I had to get some screenshots too, so it's not a big deal. Um, okay, so I know last time that there are people that really didn't follow the Onision thing, and when I did the live, I had no clue that people just wouldn't know. You know what I mean? Like I didn't understand. I didn't realize that people hadn't followed it. So I went back from last time we were live. Well, last time the other Steph and I were live, and I did a timeline from 2003 to present on like his abusive relationships and all that. So. Hey, Kaylin, Libby Learn, BTS, Nanya, Jane, Mike, Dee Dee. So, okay, I'm going to get my notes, but I'm going to get my notes and I got some screenshots. Do you want to do the body image thing first or the timeline?
Whichever one you want to do, I'm fine with.
Okay, so maybe, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the timeline up to Kai. And then when I get to him and Kai, before we talk about the people that he was with Kai, I'll show some of these. And I am going to warn you guys, like, there are going to be some screenshots, and a few of the girls, talk about eating disorders or have the eating disorders that he rated. But I will say trigger warning first because I don't want to trigger anybody. And there is a little bit of talk of SA tonight. So, if that triggers you, I just wanted to warn you about that too. So, hey, Gretchen, how you doing,
Probably.
girl?
Hey, Gretchen, it's probably better, yeah, if you talk about the timeline to a certain point because the people that don't know can get in kind of get a gist of what happened before you go into the other stuff. Hey, figure skating coach, breaking the silence. I can actually see the chat this time because I am on my computer. Every time I mute,
I've been
takes my
sitting here talking on mute. Oh my God. Okay, so, um, all right, November Rain, I was thinking about you when I was doing this timeline. I was sitting here thinking about you, because she was like really excited we were going to go live the next day, but his freaking manager struck me for that banana song. So I had to rethink my approach to it. And it's a good thing I did because I got a lot more information doing it this way. So I feel like I got everything. So we're gonna go back to like 2003. Okay. So he was in high school and he met his first wife, Sky. Um, okay, so when Sky had a younger sister, Alicia, and when she was 15, she said that Greg tried to kiss her at a party when she was at a party, and she was horrified. And she has a friend that's talked said yes, this did happen, right? So that's when his stuff started, like back when
How
he
old
just
was
had
he?
graduated. When that happened, I think he was like probably around 18 or 19. That didn't
Okay.
give an exact year. It was just kind of blended in. So he was still with getting ready to marry her sister, and he was still an adult. You know what I mean? Like he was still that's not the creepiest. I mean, I guess if you're a consenting 15-year-old, that would be totally different. You know what I mean? But she was not. Hey Miranda. I just wanted to put that in there because it just shows that it's going to show a pattern, right?
Well,
With things.
that's the thing, right? It's when he's that age and she's that age, it's different. But when you keep that same pattern and you get a whole lot older, it's weird.
Exactly. It is weird. It's when it comes to pattern because if you got too much drink or something and it happens once and that's still not good, but when it becomes a pattern, it's worse, right? Like, and it
Yeah,
does
definitely.
throughout his entire life. It's not good. Yeah. So in 2005, he signed up for the Air Force and he asked Sky to marry him, and she did. And that was around the end of May, is because I can't find the exact dates for that, but around the end of May. And um, hold on a second. I'm so sorry. Okay, so they got married. They went. He went to boot camp and all that, and came back, and they got married. They were She was more the breadwinner. She had a better paying job and better benefits, and that's only important because of things that come up, right? It doesn't matter. He was in the Marine, or not the Marines, the Air Force, and he was working, but she was the breadwinner, and she had the better benefits, the better job. But he would always tell her like she wasn't allowed to hang out with her friends and stuff. Like right from the beginning when they got married. That was his rules. His rules were like, you're not allowed to gain weight. You're not allowed to hang out with your friends. I need every password to every device you have. You don't do anything without my
Not allowed
permission.
to gain weight. What the heck?
No,
How do you even
not
go
allowed.
about saying that to somebody?
It,
Don't get
it,
fat.
they said it's right. And he said it's inconsiderate to your partner if you gain weight. It's inconsiderate. Like, oh, sheesh.
Inconsiderate to your
So
partner to say, don't get fat,
yes.
Onision. What the
Right,
hell?
like don't put no weight on. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm gonna get to that, Gretchen. He sure did. He did. That's one of the things that ended up, getting him away from the getting away from the services. But Sky talks about this is with every partner he has. He would watch anime porn of underage girls getting an essay. Um, like he would watch it. What's it called? Henel? I can't remember
Hentai.
what it's called.
Hentai.
Hentai, that's what it is.
I've heard
Hentai.
him
Yeah.
say that he has an addiction to that he can't stop watching. He can't control his addiction.
Yeah, she said that he would just watch that. And he would have to do that in the morning time for 2 to 3 hours and masturbate so that he could get ready for his day. Even back then, this is in
2 to
2006,
3
2007. Yes.
2 to 3
Um,
hours?
Yes, he would watch it in the mornings or whenever they were getting ready for the day. And you can fact check anything I'm saying when I'm done. I will share where I got a lot of this information underneath. I just want to share it, and then I'll share the channel that I got a lot of this information of.
Everybody else in
Um,
the world's getting up and getting their coffee and watching the news, and he's like, "Nope, it's hentai for 3
hey,
hours in the morning for
Sandy
me."
Lennon. I know, right? Like
Sandy,
that's craziness to me. So okay. Um, yeah, so I wanted to get to what Gretchen was talking about. Um, he was like done with the military and he refused to shoot a rabbit. He was claiming it was conscientious objector status. But he also was forbidding her to get a job from outside of the house. He wanted, they had created their YouTube account on 1/29/2006, what would become Onision, and he was forbidding her to get a job because she was the main person that came up with the skits and the music and the comedy. If you go back and look, you can tell the difference when she was doing it. It wasn't like it is now. Like, you know what I mean? It was still
no, it's
clean and stuff.
garbage. What he makes now, there's no
Yeah,
creativity to it. Ugh, she must
yeah,
have been
it's
the driving
horrible.
force behind
Yes, she was.
that.
Yes, yes. Okay, so and also, that's really the big thing that happened in 2006. But in 2007, he wrote a big vlog explaining why he has isolated Sky from her friends and that they both only hang out with family and each other. And she was not allowed around her friends. And a little bit later, her close friends tried to intervene, and he made her cut them all off, phone, everything. She was not allowed to have friends. She just was simply not allowed.
And at that age, you don't know how to. You're not equipped to handle situations like that.
No, no, you have
So
to think
sad.
they're straight out of high school, got married, they're in the military, so they're probably halfway across the world from her or across the country from her family. They're not right
She probably
there.
thought she was doing the best thing when he was like, "Yeah, get rid of these people or else," and she did because
Yeah,
she didn't know
yeah, yeah. She
any
didn't know. She
better.
was just so young. I can't even
So sad.
imagine. That's so sad. It is. Okay, so in 2008, the Nissan channel did start to pick up, and he was actively preventing her from getting jobs, like sabotage every time she would like go to get a job, every time she would have an interview, he would just sabotage it on purpose because he was just horrible. He didn't want her to work. He didn't want her to talk to friends, barely any
He wanted to
family.
control everything.
Uh, yeah. Hold on. Let me see. I got to mute for 1 sec. I think I got this. Hold on.
Hey, Angel Eyes. If you didn't graduate boot camp, you were never in the Air Force. You flunked the training. I've
Yeah.
never
And
heard
from
of
the
boot
notes
camp
that I
without
found,
minimal
he,
sacrifice.
I know, right. Well, he was actually doing well, right? And then that came up and he hated it. He was doing videos against it. He could have done it. Like, he could have. He was doing well until that came up. And then he had already started like hating the military. He did videos against it while he was in the military. Okay. So, um, 2010, the video, that stupid video, I'm a banana that I'm not playing to get another strike. Um, it was on things like WebSoup and Tosh 2.0. And he was getting a lot of fans from the ages really of 12 to 18. Like, he blew up. It was a gradual, slow climb before that. And monetization was a lot different. It was harder to get back then, right? But he definitely blew up and got a lot of fans from that, from being on those shows. And that was, sorry, February of 2010. So,
That song was huge.
do you have
It's
anything you
even
want to add?
now in Fortnite. That song is still now to this day famous. It was in the
Yeah.
Fortnite game somehow. I don't play Fortnite,
Yeah.
but I know that it was in there somehow.
Yeah, yeah, it's still being used. It's still on like I think all like the Apple, he does make money off of that song, but I do believe Sky came up with a lot of that because she was the person that was behind the skits, the songs, how they were going to perform them. That's why he wanted her to stay home. She was the creative
Right.
one for a lot. 'Cause back then, YouTube was a lot of skits and weird songs and stuff like that. It wasn't like it is now.
Well, I mean, if it were him and it wasn't just a fluke, he should have been able to recreate that situation again. And he really never recreated that kind of situation again where something
Never,
blew
even with
up
his
like that.
popularity. Yeah, he never was able to get something that got that much attention again. He got negative attention seriously from the time that he blew up. Like, um, okay, so in April of 2010, patient zero, which is Shiloh, he begins talking to her over Skype, and she was an underage fan of his. She was like 16, almost 17, or she wasn't quite 17, but they talked sometimes for 6 to 10 hours a day. And he kept it secret from Sky, and Sky was beginning to suffer depression. I mean, with the deteriorating of the relationship. I mean, he made it to where he was all she had, and then he just took it away from her. Like, he just met somebody else, you know what I mean? And she literally,
Yeah.
hey, Shauna. Yeah,
Hey,
this was so,
Shauna.
I feel bad for everybody that's ever been involved with him. I gotta get a drink real quick.
So he isolated her from everything that she knew as a teenager. She was still a teenager and took her away from everything she knew, isolated her, gave her ultimatums to choose. And then when she made those choices, he abandoned her after
Yeah, he would,
she
yeah,
gave up everything.
yeah, yeah, he would sit and
Wow.
talk to her, like, and he would sit and talk to her in his editing bay. He would sit and talk to this girl over Skype all day. And he was 27 in 2010. He was 27 years old talking to a 16, 17-year-old girl. I mean, that's a really big age gap. It just is. Um, okay,
He has a
so
type, and his type is younger females.
young, vulnerable, not from a
Yes.
great, maybe doesn't have a great relationship with their parents. And look, a lot of teenagers go through that when they're not, but he picks them that way on purpose. Um, so he uploaded a video called The Lovers Pact. The made Sky agree to it. Um, and one is never to keep a secret, be healthy, claimed it's selfish to gain weight, not to consider if you're not, or sorry, It's selfish to gain weight, and you're not
Wow.
considering the other person's sexual needs if you do. He made I also want to throw in that he would tell his partners, you need to wear shorts under your skirts and your dresses or you will get raped. He would put fear in them, like um and so okay. He threatens her with divorce publicly in 20 let's see, June of 2010. And then he did draft up a divorce contract stating that he will let her live there rent free in his apartment for a year. But the judge ended up throwing that out later because it was signed under duress. But he showed patient zero, who was 17, that he had drafted this up. Um, and then he, it started talking about meeting her. And they did end up getting divorced. I think maybe early 2011, but I for some reason didn't write the date down on that. But
So you
right
need
away
Shiloh
he
to
was.
see that he was
Hmm.
looking for a divorce from her. How humiliating
Yes,
for her.
yes,
Could you
yes.
imagine?
No, no,
Wow.
absolutely not. And
Oh,
something super
that
important.
is
Mind of
so
Onision. Hold on.
humiliating.
Okay, he couldn't stay out of juvie and was about to age adjudicated. Okay, I didn't find that. That's interesting. Thank you for sharing. I did not find that, but thank you
Oh,
for letting us know that because I didn't know that. That's one thing I didn't know. So Gretchen says the
oh,
bunny thing is just excuse. He was a troubled teen and couldn't stay out of juvie, and he was about to go to juvie. They gave him the military program option, and he found a way out of the military. Oh my God. See, I didn't know that. So thank you. Okay, so where were we? Okay, so he hit a deer. He was gonna go see Shiloh. And he ended up just buying a plane ticket and he went to a hotel. His first words he said to Shiloh were that he wanted to get her pregnant. And the mom ended up calling the police to do like a wellness check type of thing and said she was worried about her child. And the cops came, they checked it out, and they even checked for like child pornography because he had all this equipment. And they ended up making him leave. So um
she was
um
17?
patient zero did end up. Yeah, yeah, she was
Wow.
17 and she's from Canada. She's a Canadian rock star and she actually
Her
wasn't
music's
bad.
awesome. No, I love her music. Back then, I don't know about
Yeah.
now, but she's
Mhm.
beautiful, I think. And 17 years old, the first thing you say is, I want to get you pregnant. You obviously want to manipulate this person
Yeah.
and control them. And so sad.
Yeah, and there's still a video about it. It's called Onision's car accident. It's still up. I checked before I did this. If you guys want to go back to the beginning, like after this. Um, and then patient zero ended up tweeting about this, which that's Shiloh. It, she ended up coming out later as patient zero. So the tweet was said, and this was years later. The tweet said, my mother notified the hotel that you were there and the police arrived. We were asked to leave because of the camera equipment in the room. Your computer was searched for child porn. I was sent home and you flew back to Tacoma. So, because she would tweet things later on about her experience with him all those years
Right.
earlier. So now we're to 2011, middle like 4/12/2011. He publicly announces that he and patient zero are dating. By this point, they live together. A week later, Greg begins locking her out of the editing bay so he can masturbate to the animated porn in which underage girls were being, assaulted. And she would cry and beg him not to, and he would just humiliate her, and she would beg him not to do that. Like it made her feel very uncomfortable, obviously. Um,
Mm.
so do you know about the tattoo, about Shiloh's tattoo?
I don't think so.
Okay, he talked her into getting a name tattoo, and he was supposed to get one. Um, and she got one on the back of her neck and he acted shocked on camera and he said um you spelled my name wrong and then he put one that said remember love instead of her name and she found out like after she already got his name really big. So they had a deal. Like, I'll get a tattoo and you get a tattoo. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
that's breaking trust right there. Like
yeah,
if
it's
you
just
trust
like, why
somebody to
would you
say,
do that?
"Yeah, I'm gonna put your name on my body," that's a big thing for people, and then for him to
That's
turn
a
around and
big
be like, "You
commitment.
know
You have to
what?
be,
Never mind. Now that you did it, I'm not going to." That's awful.
yeah, right. And yes, and she got to end up getting a GoFundMe, and I think she raised the money and got it removed. Hold on one second. Hold on. I got,
What's up, Ash? She'll be
sorry.
right back.
My kids just got back up. Okay. So, all right. 4/25/11, patient zero turns 18 and she spends the day at the airport. Um, okay. Hold on. Nikki just DM'd me. Let me see what she DM'd me. Hold on.
I think she's sent in the receipts of what she was talking about how he was supposed to
Oh,
go
okay. Okay.
juvenile.
Okay. Yes. And Nikki, feel free to share that in chat too, because I'm sure people will save it. All right. So patient zero turns 18. Yeah, okay. She spends the day at the airport. As Greg was flying her out the next morning without needing her mom's consent finally to go to him. So, it's like for the next couple months, it just escalates. He demands that she wears no feminine clothes, makeup, etc. Outside of being filmed. She's allowed to wear makeup on film, because that'll make money, right? But
Right.
no padded bras. She's given boy pants, graphic tees, baggy hoodies from Target. She's prevented from seeing her friends and family. She can't eat meat and must give them all the passwords to her accounts. She shared half of her she shaved half of her head for like a punk look, and during sex he shaved the other half of her head. Like, can you imagine? Can you fucking
No,
imagine?
that's abusive.
Okay, so
Just
he
say it wrong.
degrade her, and he called her his good little whore all the time. Ugh, ugh. So Greg makes her sleep in a chair next to the editing bay so she can sexually serve him whenever he wakes her up. Um, okay, so sometimes it was up to 8 times a day. Um, can you just imagine that? Like, this was her first serious relationship, and this is how it's going. She was very young. Her mom obviously cared. She was trying to stop her. This is her first serious relationship, first experience with a big sexual relationship, an emotional relationship,
He's older
and
than
this
she is.
happens.
There's already a power
Yeah,
dynamic of
yes,
him being older. Plus, he's famous at this point. Not, I mean, he's known. He already
yeah, and
blew up,
yes,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
there's that
yeah,
power dynamic over top of her. Like she had no chance to go. It would be very hard to go against somebody that had that much power. A lot of power
yeah.
over her.
She started having these little grandma seizures, and she tweeted, and the tweet said, "Weren't you on top of me 8 times most days? You were masturbating to jailbait. Henny, what's it called? Is it called I'm going to pronounce it wrong. Whatever that's called. I can never
Hentai.
pronounce it. The
Hentai.
anime porn. Hentai. Okay. Hentai. So sorry, guys. Okay. So the hentai, when you weren't doing that, you were recording or editing videos. You had me sleep next to your chair in the office so I could wake up and service you if you ever needed it. Like, can you just uh is there any questions so far on anything that I have shared? Nobody's going
For
to
me,
Melton John's channel, Carlos. Yeah, no, for anybody. Anybody.
hey Carlos.
Nobody's going to Melton's channel.
It's
But
hilarious. It
hey,
cracks me up.
I know. I
Go
actually do
troll
watch
Melvin
Melton
Jones.
sometimes, but I never. No, that's okay. That it's called a moral waiver. Let me write that down. I'll look for it after this still. Moral waiver. Sorry, I have to put it in. Okay, so all right, we'll move right along to this is so much. Like this is just his all I'm doing today is his relationship timeline, like our timelines. Like this is just abuse. This isn't like his life, and it's 15 pages front and back. Like just for his abuse. Take that in. That's insane.
And he thinks that he does nothing wrong, that everything is perfect, that,
I, I know. Sorry, I'm
that
I
everybody else
know.
is wrong.
I can't. Yes, he's always got an excuse. Hold on one second. I'm so sorry. I don't know where I put him. Hold on.
Thank you, teacher's mom. Hey, Sarah. Sandy said, he's a god.
Okay, good. We're good.
He thinks so.
Yeah, he is a god. You're a yeah. Okay, so all right. So 611, patient 0, which is Shiloh, has a seizure in the shower. Gray goes on to tell her she is morbidly obese and needs to lose weight for him. Now that's like pretty controversial because she had some people didn't think she had a seizure. Some people said she did, but whatever. I don't know if she did or not, but this is just important because of how he reacted. He recorded it and told her she's morbidly obese and she needs to lose weight for him. Like something's going on there, regardless if it's a seizure or she is not having a seizure. That's how you react to it. Like, are you kidding me?
Hey, polyester jumpers. And
Yeah.
didn't he uploaded
Hey,
it to the internet, right?
yes, he
Did he
uploaded
post
that
it online?
seizure. Yes. Um, I was gonna play it, but I don't want to play anything that he could strike me for. You know what I mean? I don't want another
Right.
strike. So,
And even if he did,
um,
he thought it was fake, still, there's still a chance that it's not and that she's under emotional distress, and then you put it on the internet for people to see and go attack her for it. He's only making it 10
yeah.
times
Okay.
worse
So,
on the internet.
right, and on 623, he uploads it. It's called "Forget Me Not," and it got a million views. It was probably the most controversial thing to date on his channel to this point. Like to six, it was on 623 of 11. So
A
I
million.
mean, that was like the
Wow.
most controversial thing, and he just loved the views. Like it was all about the views, but it hit a million pretty a lot faster than his other videos. So
Yeah, but for her,
he is
she's going
horrible.
through something terrible, and a million people are watching that.
Right, like that's what I'm saying. Even if it wasn't real, there was something going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Something not
that's
good,
awful.
right? So, oh, it's not. It wasn't good. So, anyways, let's see. It shocked a lot of people, and they didn't know if it was legit or not. A lot of people still to this day talk about that video. Um, seven in the middle of in the middle of July, he starts emailing Sky that he's confused and maybe he shouldn't have left her. Um, maybe he should have just stuck with her. And he uploaded a video a couple days later saying that Sky had caught him. And he says, Sky actually wasn't insane. She explained everything to me. However, and she, oh, sorry. And she never stopped loving me. Everything she said made so much sense. I respect her more now than I ever have. And then he goes on to email her little sister, begging her to work with him. The one that he had tried to kiss at the party? Alicia is her name. So I know, Sandy, that's important too. You're right. We're going to talk about that too today. Okay, so he was telling Alicia that Shiloh was starting to kill herself whenever he was emailing her. All right, so in August of 2011, the video came out where Shane Dawson caught a gay kiss with Shane Dawson. That blew up, if you guys remember. It was the one where him and Shane kissed.
I remember.
Do you remember that video?
Uh-huh. And then after that, he started going at Shane, right? Or was that way later?
That was later when Shane just didn't
Okay.
want to be friends with him, but that's the video that caught Kai's attention. So, around this time, all the girls, Patient Zero, Adrian, and Sky are speaking, but Onision doesn't know. And Onision is believing that Sky still supported him, but she really just kind of wanted closure. Oh, wait, I forgot. Okay, in the meantime, he's talking to this girl. I think she's like 18. Her name's Adrian, and he hasn't met her yet though, but he's getting ready to. Okay, they only dated for like a week and met one time, and the one time they met, he said, I want you to have my baby," and she has always said that he sexually assaulted her. She was saying no the entire time. Okay, she didn't want to. He went to her to a hotel. I don't have her exact age. I don't know why I didn't write it down, but um she didn't want to have sex with him, and he was kind of forceful and she kept saying no. So
Is that his
um
pickup line for
oh,
everybody?
and yeah, and he told her that he couldn't wear a condom because he was allergic to latex. So oh, and he told her he wants to marry her. He wants to marry her. So
Tries to get
like
everybody
you
hooked.
think, welcome, Shauna. Like, can you imagine?
No. Hey,
Okay,
Doodle.
so hey, Doodle. Uh, I, okay, so he had insinuated that she gave him an STD, and um, okay, she kind of defended herself a little bit, but he would like not too much because you didn't do this. You got to understand, and he had like an army back then, a real like so many fangirls and troll friend. He was not. He
Yeah.
didn't really want to go against Denise. It was bad.
Yeah, it was popular still at that time.
Yeah.
He has his own forums and everything
So
where they
yes, yes, he had his own forums. He tried to start a cult. All that.
Oh yeah, the
But
religion. I forgot about the religion.
yes, he's trying to start the religion. I might just do a short video on that and just show some of the posts from it. Because it's just not worth like a whole video, but because it's just so comical, like it's stupid. But he's had like numerous forums when he needed something to hold on to. But he was just like spamming her phone, and he completely um she ignored him, and he said she humiliated him, so he humiliated her by saying that she gave him an STD, and then patient zero had come back because she was pregnant and it was confirmed through medical records, like in a sonogram, it was confirmed. She ended up losing the baby, but she did a thing like a skit with him, and she was like, you know what I don't like when people don't wash when guys and girls don't wash down there, and she was making fun of Adrian when she did that. So yeah, his religion,
Mm.
yeah. Um,
He
okay,
named
so
it and everything. I can't remember the name, but he gave it a name and he was serious about it.
yeah, he was serious. It was a real thing, like it was an actual thing.
Could you imagine just sitting here and being
Okay,
like, you know what?
so
Today I'm gonna make a religion.
yeah, like, hey guys,
That's my goal.
today, yeah, I got a new thing for you. We're gonna make a whole new religion, and there was like rules and everything, remember?
Yes.
I mean,
It was
I
legit.
should have wrote more about it. Yeah, it was a real thing. It's okay, Dory, I'm
I
not
want
going
to
to
say
take
it
this
was like
down.
Neneska. No, that's not right. There's a
Hold
word.
on, just
He
I'm gonna
named it.
mute and look for it. Hold on, I'm gonna look for the name of it because it's gonna drive me crazy. Hold on.
Whose age don't you know? He met Shiloh at 14 and hooked up with her in Pennsylvania, a hotel at 16. Maybe Adrian, because she's the younger sister. But Sarah was 12. 12?
No,
I
she
thought
was a fangirl, and I thought she was like 16. Maybe I thought she was close. You know what? I couldn't get her. I didn't write her age on it. I don't know why. She was on the younger side, and he was already like what 28. So, I mean, either way. But Sarah was 12 when she met them, and the first time
I didn't know
she
that she was
remembers any
12.
sexual thing.
That's
Yeah, she was
crazy.
14 when they started talking about his penis size and stuff. But hold on, let me get the name of this. But Adrian was just some random like a fangirl that he met on Twitter or something. I don't know. Hold on. Okay.
When she sent those pictures, like those memes to when Kai sent those pictures on Twitter, how
Yeah.
old was she? 12 then?
Hold on. I got some. That's like a little further on my
Is it Cecilia?
notes.
Is
Hold
that
on.
right?
Okay.
Did I get it right?
Hold on. Okay, Kai was okay. I'll get. I don't know where that's at. I think that she was like 14 when she got that. Are you talking about the picture where she was on Instagram and she showed her bottom half to Sarah?
Well,
Is that what you're
that
talking
too,
about?
but she also sent her like memes that were
Or she might have been
had
14.
sexual connotations too.
Hold on a second, because I think she was 14 according to my note. Hold on a second. I'm gonna make sure I'm right,
Girl, she was
but
12 when
hold
she
on.
moved into
I don't want to give out
adoption.
wrong information. So
13 to 15. She moved in to adopt and protect and get a babysitter. The sex talk was about 13 to 15. And they
okay,
just acted
she was
like
14.
normal.
I don't think she
It
was
was
12,
just
but
normal.
she was 14. Sorry, I was a little distracted for a second, but she was four. I do believe she was 14. But either way, she was a baby. Everything I have says she was 14. So, I won't, unless I can find something that says she was younger, then that's totally fine. But either way, like they were adults. 14 is so young. So, let's see. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to get back to my notes where I was. All right, so
Wait,
okay,
Krista
so they
Miranda
lost
said,
the
I
baby.
used to see Greg. Listen, it says, I used to see Greg and Lainey at the mall before they moved to Gig Harbor, Billy days. He stares people down. You could smell his ego. That's funny.
Oh my God. Can you imagine? Really? That's so weird that you got to see him though, like in person. Wow.
Stares people
Okay.
down.
That's awesome though. Yeah,
He
I'm
probably
sure that he's very I'm sure of it, that he's really cocky. So, okay. Anyways, I wanted to make sure that I got that out about her age. Okay. Okay. Oh, so after Shiloh lost the baby, he wouldn't pay for her medical. Like he sent her back to Canada. Like you're on your, I'm not paying for this, even though he had the money. But he sent her mom took her passport. Okay, so the mom ended up like taking the passport. She ended up keeping the money, pawning the ring, and got a game system like with the money, and
or
she never came back. And he starts lying on her like almost immediately. He sent her like $1,000, a little over 1,000 actually.
he's always
So
greedy like that.
yeah, he's
Look where it got
real
him now.
greedy, which yeah. Um,
Carn-
yeah, you're 14-year-old. Can you just imagine like even your 14-year-old Gretchen, like ugh, ooh, ooh. Okay, so he PayPal'd Greg PayPal'd Sky like in the meantime. And he was like, after he had built her all back up, she makes so much sense. He was like, you are greed, you are the definition of greed and you have no honor because he had to give her and he was telling her to kill himself. Like it's horrible. It's
Over
just
alimony?
horrible. Yes, over alimony. It's okay. She lost the baby, just like for a brief thing. All of that, Shiloh lost the baby. Um, the baby didn't pass. She had to get a medical procedure, and I think she got like sepsis. If I remember right, she needed medical.
Mm.
He made her go back to Canada where it was free, even though he had the money. Like, just put your head around that for just a second. Like, you have the money to get help your wife, the person that you so called love, but you make them go on a plane back to Canada because you don't want to pay for it.
He's greedy.
Yeah, Gretchen, seriously, it's all baby. You're right. Like, it's all baby. Um, let's see. I'm just making sure that I had the age right because you know how people are, Gretchen. But if 12 or 14, it doesn't matter. I have an 11-year-old. Like I just can't with this fucking creep. So okay, Kai. We're gonna talk about Kai for
Sarah.
a second. She was like, Kai has a couple different names. She did. He did end up. He is transgender now, so I'm gonna refer to him as he. But that's Onision's husband. Okay, and he did. Oh my God. He did he would like tweet and if you remember, he said that the video that caught his attention was the Onision and Shane Dawson video. So all of a sudden, around 2:27, he began seeing her in private, of course, and he even consulted a lawyer to see if it was legal. Like he knew it wasn't right. So
And he still
Greg
had
begins.
all the power, age.
Yep.
He was
Yeah.
famous, all of that over her too.
Yes. Hey, Kimberly. Yeah, this is really a power dynamic because she's a lot younger. Again, he isolates from his family, and she's a fan. He's a fanboy. I don't mean to slip up from time to time because I've never watched Kai like after they um transitioned into a male. So if I slip up, it is
Right.
not on purpose. I don't mean it disrespectfully.
I
I
think he
still want to
left,
misgender. Yeah,
didn't
he
he?
left YouTube. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so okay, so something that I wrote a note about was like 3 years later, Greg recalls like in a video saying early on, I'm gonna marry you, right? And they hadn't even met in person. Like there's a pattern here. So in March 2012, okay, in March of 2012, Kai had said, I met him 3 years ago today on March of 2012. I don't know exactly what day, but March 8th of 2012. So they met in, did they meet in 2000? No, that can't be right. I had to have written that down wrong. I think they met in 2012. So in 2015, she had said that, but she was pretty young then. Like he had to rent a home in New Mexico just to like have access to her, pretty much. You know what I mean? Like if you have to rent a whole home and consult a whole lawyer, and this person's a whole fanboy, it's probably wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just saying
And
that's
to marry him, didn't he have to go
yeah. They
somewhere special too?
um. I got that written down actually. They did have to go somewhere and get married
Because I think
when they
his
were dating.
parents would have had to sign for him, but they didn't want to do that, so they went somewhere where his parents wouldn't have to sign
Yeah, because it
because
was
he wasn't old.
11/24 of that year, and they went to the New Mexico court system. Hold on it. Okay, so anyways, Adrienne says she didn't want ill intent, so this is all like leading up to them getting married. This is all in the middle of him meeting Kai, dating Kai. Adrienne comes out and says, I don't wish you any ill intent. Good luck. And he takes that as like, see, I told you guys, I win, I win. Like, so Greg goes on Twitter telling Sky that he hates her and she's a bitch and get a fucking job, even though she helped build his channel. Greg also sends a whole bunch of emails that like to the sister and to her. He's gonna kill himself. 11/24, they get married. Let's see. Greg turned 27 3 days before. Why didn't I write her age down? Damn it. Okay, Steph's here. I mean, the other Steph. Hey, Steph, how old were they when the
Hey.
time
Hi.
Greg got
Hey,
married? Do you know?
Lainey was
Sorry.
it's okay. Lainey was 17 and Onision was 27.
Okay, yeah, I knew
So
he turned
10 year.
he's 27
Ten-
3 days before that.
Yep.
Yeah, before they
That's
got
it.
married.
10
Yeah, I
year
have that.
difference
Mhm.
between them. Also,
Okay.
real quick, before you move on past Adrienne, like you have to talk about her email that she
Yes,
sent out
I have a
about
little
it.
bit more about Adrienne too. Oh, wait, that might be what year? Like, I'm trying to go on a timeline
It
here.
was
Hold
it
on, I
was
have a couple.
it was before he got back with Shiloh. Remember when Shiloh was making fun of how she smelled? Shiloh was
Yeah.
doing that
Okay.
because of the email that Adrienne wrote that went public. It was like a 10-page email, but what it pointed out was
Mm-hmm.
when he went to
I do
visit
remember that.
Adrienne, he stayed in a hotel while she was at work. He needed constant attention. He was constantly blowing up her phone. He said to her, okay, she thought it was weird because when he asked her for a blowjob, he said, will you sucky sucky on my pee-pee? And
Mm-hmm.
he was like that, like childish. If she didn't want to sleep with him, he would throw a baby temper tantrum. And it got to the point where
Yeah, and
she couldn't deal. She was supposed to move in with him, but she said, I've
yeah,
got pets, I've got family. I can't just move in with you. And then
He was trying to
there were
talk her into it, like lure her about the money.
yep.
Like he would be like, I'll take care of you. But luckily, it was a very short-lived relationship. He acts like it was a whole goddamn
Oh, yeah.
marriage, but
You should hear
it's very weird.
I wonder if we could find the voicemails because the voicemails went public.
Yeah, hold
Yes,
on. Okay, Greg and
they
Alicia.
did.
Hold on. I have a lot saved to share. Oh, okay. So, I wanted to also point this out that in 2014, Greg posts like a whole tirade, a Facebook post, belittling and humiliating Kai's sister because Kai's sister did not agree with Greg on something and had made like an offhanded joke or remark. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he like totally humiliated her and Kai would not stand up for her. Like instead, she's like, well, I'm taking it private. This is a family matter. After he would do that to her family. I have a couple of tweets where
Um,
he would like humiliate her mom and her family to put a wedge. He wanted a
yeah,
wedge.
I have these voicemails if you want to play them at some point.
Okay.
He sounds
Yeah.
so
Video,
Let me
I
get
found
desperate.
was like 20 minutes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we can play them. What'd you say, Steph?
I didn't hear what she
It's like
said.
20 something minutes. The one that I
Copy.
found. I couldn't find a shorter one.
Yeah, but you don't want
Trying
to.
to
I mean,
find
it's only like voicemail 3, 4, and 5 are the good ones. We could do it at the end. It's
Okay.
just if you really hate him, you really like listening to these.
Yeah, we can like end with
I had
that if you
never
want
heard about
to. And then,
Adrian before now.
Oh yeah,
oh yeah.
she's the
She played
only
kind of a
one
big.
that got out.
I mean, I knew there was another
Yeah.
story. I just hadn't heard her story
Yeah, she got
before
out.
today.
Okay. I do want to share a couple things now. If you've ever had an eating disorders trigger you, just walk away from the computer for a second. I'm going to give everybody like 5 seconds to look away because these are the reason I feel like these are important is because this was a big deal. He was rating very young girls, and some of them even like one post the sister had asked him to remove because the girl was 14, and this one is like the worst one to me. Hold on, let me get it pulled up. There's two of them that are just really really bad to me. Let me get them pulled up for you guys.
While you're
All
pulling this up, I'm
right.
going to read Gretchen's comment real quick.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead.
Okay. It says, keep in mind, these are the ones who actually wanted a spotlight and hoped that working with him would catapult their career. Imagine those who didn't care about onion clout.
Yeah, like the people
Shiloh
that
Shiloh was popping. She was
She
doing
was.
well, and then getting with him ruined her career, in
It
my
did.
opinion.
Yeah, it put it to a
yeah.
She was
complete
never the
halt.
same.
It damaged her. She was in a recording studio a lot before they got together.
She was famous in Canada.
Yes, she
And
was.
Okay,
beautiful
so
and
there's this
talented.
one
And I like
first.
the
Let's see.
songs that she had.
I do too. There's one song that
Okay,
most people recognize.
all right, so I'm gonna do these real quick and then I'm gonna mute for a second. Okay, so this one is it says I'm 5'4" and 49 kilograms. I'm currently struggling with bulimia. I'm trying to recover. Now hold on, let me just scroll down so that see she's pretty thin, but she's struggling with bulimia and he still rated this person. Like that's the like a normal person would have probably been like, well, I'm not gonna do that. They've already got body image issues, not him. And then this one was a pretty big and he would have them write their name on their stomach and stuff. Just
Yep.
he's such a creep. He would have them write. I
And
have a lot
a
of
lot of
examples of
them
this, but
were
I don't.
underage too, because
They were.
Yeah.
At first, he
it said
started it
on
with
there.
all ages
Go
on
ahead.
these forums. But then once he
Exactly.
started getting called back out, he went back and started putting 16 plus and 18 plus.
But still,
Yeah,
you could
this
get
one
in, I'm
is-
sure.
Yep. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
On
the only
YouTube,
thing
you
that
can have an
yeah,
account.
right. They're forums. There's nothing policing them. You could set your age to whatever you wanted.
This girl looked like she just seems young, probably. Like you can't really just say, but everybody had to write Onision. a couple of these stuck out to me that I looked up. Okay, I'll stop sharing these. I just
Now
wanted to give
this is
examples, but it wasn't only him rating them. He rated them
They're
with
out there
Kai.
forever.
Kai was rating them. Yes, and they're still out there. You can still search Onision, rate my body. Am
Yeah.
I fat or not? Oh, there's one that's called
And the
fat or
things
thick.
and the things that he would
ugh,
say to like just that picture right there, he would say, "Oh, I could tell you're sucking in, so obviously you're not confident, and so I think you're hideous." That's
Oh.
what he would say. He has no and he would say, "I'm just
yeah.
being honest. I'm the most honest YouTuber, so therefore I'm not
Oh,
bad, and you should have to listen to me."
I'm gonna get a drink real quick. I'm just gone for 2 seconds. I'm
Are
gonna
we
mute and
at
get a drink.
their marriage? Is that where you stopped on your timeline?
Yeah, they just got where I'm at is they just got married.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yes, we're
I'm at
trying to
like
figure out the
2013,
correct.
2014.
Okay.
Trying to make sure I
So
don't miss anything. I'm actually to their marriage right now. So
the reason they were living in New Mexico was because Lainey was going to college. And so in order for them to be together, Onision was renting that house so Lainey could go to college and he could be with her. Let me figure out which that college was called. I can't remember, but it's
yeah,
a
and
very
wasn't she
you'll recognize
17
the
when they got
house.
married?
Yeah, they were
Wasn't
17.
she 17 when they got married?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the timelines that I found said that they had to go through the court system in New Mexico because she
Yeah.
wasn't quite 18. Okay, so I
And
wanted to make sure because I don't want to give out anything that's,
And wasn't it part
not-
of it like her parents said she had to go to college if
yes.
they were gonna marry?
And she wanted to go
That
to
she
college,
couldn't
and he
not do
supported her going to college. He didn't care because what he said at the time was that he could make videos anywhere. And if you go back, you'll recognize the house because it's in all of his videos. He filmed everything from that house.
Yes, he did. He filmed a lot in that house. I actually have a note that a lot of his videos were done in that house. Let's see. So I'm trying to find where I was at because I accidentally closed my book. I hate when that happens. Okay. So he humiliated the sister, and then in 2015 is when Billy came into the picture. And Kai has claimed in numerous tweets that the Billy situation was pushed on
Yeah.
They
onto
were
him
married for how
because
long?
he
A
didn't
year?
really
They were
a
they
year.
already
Yeah, they
had their
got married.
first kid at that point.
Wow.
Yeah, they had a
Wow.
baby right when they got married then because see. Sorry, hold on. I'm to home in New Mexico. Sorry, I'm
But it
making
only
sure.
took him a year to mold her into being okay with that because she admitted
Well, she
that
was such a fan
she
that
wasn't.
he didn't have to work. He didn't have to work at Lainey
Exactly.
at all. The second he
Okay, so
met her, he could already tell Lainey or Kai to do
She was
whatever
gonna
they wanted.
do whatever.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. She's just
yeah,
that
and
way.
they got married at the end of 2013, by the way. So they had not been married quite a year and a half at this point. And he was already doing the rate me things with them. He was already trying to push another partner onto him. And so that Billy comes into the picture, and actually Onision and Billy slept together when Kai was not there. That was against the rules. That was not supposed to happen. But he ended up putting out like a bunch of I betrayed my wife videos. How many were there? Like 8 I betrayed my wife videos, and they were like back to back because he does that when he's caught up in something. He posted a lot of the
They
I
had
betrayed my
better
wife videos.
energy. They had better energy
Huh?
on camera than he and Kai did.
I know. It was
I
second.
felt
crazy.
I'll be right back.
they had
Okay.
more chemistry, and there was something really like feelings wise between Onision and Billy for sure that you could see
Yeah.
in the videos.
You could feel it in the videos, like, and they always talked about massaging each other. And then there's this one video where Billy is looking at Onision, she has her legs on him, and it just seemed like really real. I think that was one of the only real things he ever had in his life, to be honest. I agree with you. And so the second one was okay. It was
And she's so cute and pretty, and just her personality is so like cute, and I don't know. She's really Billy draws you to her. I feel like.
Yeah, and they ended up breaking up over that. But then somehow or another, they ended up dating both. Billy ended up dating both of them. And it was short lived though, because he tried to. There was like, you guys remember the basement stuff where he said you should be chained up to my basement for a week because she said she wanted to smoke weed. You guys remember that? Um,
Yep.
and people were like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" They called it
It was
Basement Gate.
huge. Said
Yes,
to
it was a huge deal.
paint her skin, tie her up in the basement, get a ugly
Yeah,
tattoo, shave her head, like all this crazy shit to prove herself to him
yeah, a
or to
tattoo that
them.
said I'm a liar, and Greg tried to pass
Who
it
would
off as like
ever?
a weird BDSM thing. Like that's what he passed it off as. I mean, can you imagine like your husband or
It wasn't
I'm
like
sorry, your boyfriend? No, it wasn't a
it wasn't like
BDSM
that.
thing. It was not. It was not. Okay, so let's see. Sarah started out, okay, according to this timeline, she started out as a fan at 13, but started really talking to them at 14, messaged them at 14. And then she, ended up living with them. Like they took guardianship of this girl. But then before all that, when she was 14, they told her Greg's penis size, sent her risky photos, talked about
My
all this
bad.
different, sexual stuff with her. And I do believe that she came out and said, oh, Sarah claims that she had phone sex with Kai when she was 14, where they told her the ins and outs of Greg's, penis size
Every detail.
Even
and
if they
Greg and
didn't
Sarah
have
supposedly had sex and
plans,
oh, go ahead.
still
Mm-hmm.
inappropriate, highly inappropriate. Like, what are you doing?
Oh, they had no boundaries at all.
No. Like, what were
None.
you
And
thinking?
I used
None.
to think in a sense that Lainey was sexualized way before maturity level that she should have been, and still saw herself as like when she's talking to Sarah, she sees herself as a 14-year-old as well. So those lines of appropriate, not appropriate get blurred because she's already being put in a situation that's way past her maturity level with Greg.
Yeah.
It
Some
doesn't make
people
it
Yes,
look at it
right.
and
like that.
Gretchen has a good point. Gretchen also has a really good point. She said but Onision grooms before he meets them. He spends so much time grooming them online and Discord and on Skype and it's not, you know what I mean?
Oh,
So
yeah.
A few of
with
them I
Billy, I don't
know.
think you had to do that. That might be why it's more difficult.
No.
Yeah.
Billy and her friend. What was her friend's name? Like the
I was
short
just
black
thinking about
Ayala.
hair.
that. What?
Ayala. Yep.
Yes.
Billy and
Yes.
Ayala.
Ayala
Yes.
came out there and they were expecting just to come out and hang. They really weren't. I mean, I don't think they took this
Right.
polyamorous relationship very seriously because when they spoke with Lainey one-on-one, Lainey didn't want it at all.
He's the only
Lainey
one
was
No.
pushed into
serious.
it. Right.
Yes.
And
Right.
when
Yeah.
Lainey and Sarah, because Sarah was there during the Billy situation, sat Billy down and said, I don't want you to sleep with Greg. This polyamorous relationship is going to no longer include you and Greg doing anything together. Greg claimed to have never heard that, even though Lainey Kai still said that she did say something to Greg, that it wasn't okay that him and Billy did anything. And it was the first time that Kai and Sarah left the house and left Billy and Greg alone that he convinced Billy to give him a massage, which then, without their clothes on, which then turned into them sleeping together.
He hopped right
And
on it.
that's,
First chance.
yeah. Yes, he did. The first time Kai left the house. And what used to bother Kai so much was that Kai didn't want them sleeping together in the polyamorous relationship, but let alone on their own. It was like Greg's way of cheating without having to break up with Kai first.
Yeah. It was totally like, I don't know. So Kai, this was a tweet that I wanted to make sure I shared. It was Sarah, and she ended up saying, Kai told me exactly how big Greg's dick was when I was 14. Like, that's, you know, there was tweets to back all of this up, which I do have some pictures of the tweets. I can probably share the link after this of where I got all this stuff at, but because it's like too much to go through. You cannot go through it all. It's impossible. Hey,
It's just because
Carlos.
they've been keeping this stuff for years. He's been doing the same thing for years.
Yeah, like
never
you could do an
ending
entire series like
tornado.
yeah, it's no, you're right.
Like,
It's never ending.
The series they did on Discovery Plus didn't even cover a quarter of it. Here, this will explain it. Okay, so when Ayala and Billy were leaving the house after the blow up happened because Greg and Billy slept together, they had to sneak out of the house. They couldn't. It was in the middle of the night. They snuck out of the house, and Greg caught them. And he was outside. Ayala told the story. She said Billy was halfway in the car. I was in the car telling Billy, "Come on, just get in the car, get in the car." And Greg was throwing everything he could to convince her to stay. And then it turned into, well,
Can you imagine?
Oh, hell no. And it was all manipulation.
And he was mad. He was.
Yep. He was. Oh, afterwards he was
yes,
pissed.
and that's after. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It was fine.
I was just gonna say that's after he had suggested the like locking her in the basement thing. Like that would be scary to a young girl, even if she is over the age of 18. And then to have them feel like you got to sneak out of the house.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing with your life? Like,
yeah, he said in order for her to come back, she had to do all those things. Tie her to a chain in the basement, dye her hair green.
Yeah, and get an ugly tattoo that said, I'm a liar or whatever. Yeah, I just
his biggest
I don't know,
problem
but I hope
with everything is every time that something happened in their lives, he went live about it. He did a video on it. He dropped it to the public. He was always the beast of his own story.
What were you going to say, Stephanie?
Oh, initially, right? Initially, I don't think that it even hit her like how bizarre that conversation was, because it's Onision and he's this famous YouTuber. You don't think he's gonna be that way when you're really there. But when Billy, probably after she left and read that in hindsight, it's like, what is this?
Yeah,
like, you wanted me to be chained up in your basement? What?
Yeah, and he, like, if you don't know who Onision is and you haven't followed, he got his Patreon taken because he doxed, he doxed, and then
he doxed Billy.
Yeah, he doxed Billy, and then he had all these meltdowns, and then right then the heat was starting before the Chris Hansen stuff, and Kai just disappeared. Like, would only do member stuff at first, and now they don't even do member stuff. So
no,
Kai's totally gone.
Yeah, completely gone.
He never addressed any of the accusations towards him at all.
No, Kai hasn't.
No, he wanted, and he didn't want Onision to either. It almost cost him the relationship.
Yeah, well,
because how do you defend it?
Kai did. Kai defended Onision, but right before Kai disappeared, they were doing podcasts together, and it's one of the things that got Sarah to come out. Was some of the underhanded stuff he would say in these podcasts and in his Patreon videos. And I saw these because I was in there at the time. And he would do random videos about BPD, which is something that Sarah has. And he would do underhanded comments. And he would talk about things that it was obviously about her. He did everything but said her name. And it got to her to the point where that was one of the reasons that she came out, was because he was talking about her, but he wasn't saying her name.
Yes, he would. He would kind of like make underhanded jabs about her, and he would do the borderline personality, and he would talk about, like, he ended up making it like she raped them because of a joke. Like, you're that little thing raped you too. Well, that's sad. Like, I'm not saying that the size. Yeah, I'm not saying size matters and people don't get assaulted. I'm saying there was two of them against this little girl that they had groomed. Like, get a grip. Who and I cannot. And they actually made her do a video where she was saying she didn't want to do it. She didn't want to do the video. She was hysterical. So I don't know. Um, I know BTS had a lot, didn't know a lot. So I hope that this helped BTS and anybody else that didn't know about what was going on. Um, I've been doing this for like 3 days and I'm so glad that it's over. Like I don't have to listen to any more Onision because he's a fucking asshole. He's ugh.
How do
Yes,
you all
right.
feel
Yes, you're
about
exactly right.
the documentary?
About what?
About the
I
documentary
haven't got to
they
watch
did?
I haven't got to watch it all yet, but I think Steph, did you watch it all? I think Steph's been doing it. She's learning how to mute. She loved it. She thought that it went well. Um,
So she watched. I haven't watched
she
it
has
yet, but I am not Chris Hansen fan, and I didn't like a lot of the stuff that he did, but it got his
Mhm.
whole shit demonetized, and nobody can take that away. Every mad YouTubers try to get his shit demonetized or try to do something to, you know, take him down, and it never did work. And this came out and it worked. I was shocked that it actually made
Yeah,
something happen.
I know. No, when people told me um that because the third episode is what triggered his demonetization, the third episode of the documentary. When that dropped, it was done. He was demonetized, and I thought we were actually on a live, and Steph had said, "Oh my God, I just heard that Onision got demonetized," and I was like, "No, he didn't, because it never happens." And I was like, "Are you sure?" Like, and we were like fact checking it, and that's actually what triggered this because I didn't believe it would happen, right?
It never,
Your link, someone else's.
how, I mean, a
Okay, hold on,
million
Giffords.
YouTubers covered his every single move that he did, and it was all laid out there and nothing happened. And then they did this and it happened. So it
Right.
made a difference.
It did happen. It did. I gotta check this my PayPal real quick. Hold on a second for okay, let me get this for her. I did make a difference. Nobody else could do it. He had an entire anti-Onision community. Like that's I don't know if people understand that like an entire community. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not talking one or two people. It was bigger than his cult. Like, I'm not
It's bigger than
there you go, Sam. Or there you go,
him.
good. Right.
Like they had
Okay, hold on,
more
Gretchen. Let me
reach and more voice than he did.
Okay, so Gretchen said,
Taste
I
all
watched the
right.
videos. I watched the videos, but found too many contradictions. I don't believe his physical or sexual abuse story either. Yeah, his dad came out and said a lot of stuff wasn't true about his story about his dad too. He was diagnosed as a pathological liar, and let's see. And his father, being a Christian, didn't believe in medicine, so they finally agreed they would take him to retreat for troubled youth. Greg refused that too. It was in their way that he assaulted his stepmom and dad. So about to call the cops, and judge offered him offered in the military. New age Christian, I would say I refuse to watch Onision docs because they're gonna piss me off getting something wrong when I've watched and researched better over the last decade. So Gretchen's like followed all of this. I did. I read it. And if you,
He was
I mean, we
diagnosed
could do.
as a liar. Greg was. Is
I don't know. I
that
don't
what she
know.
said?
I haven't. I need.
That's probably for the
Yeah, I
doctor.
need to go back. Somebody sent me some stuff about his childhood. That's what. No, I'm not saying Nikki's not. I'm not like saying I don't know. I'm saying I haven't gotten to dive into that part of it because just doing the relationships took me 4 days, like of steady stuff. But Nikki's gonna send me some stuff, and I would be glad to definitely share it. We could go back and share that too. Maybe later this week
Also,
from
the
his
news
chat.
stuff came
From
from
earlier.
his dad being in the documentary because he had never spoke on it before then.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff
Mm-hmm.
came probably from him talking because, he had only been talked about. He had never came out and
Yes.
addressed it.
Yes. he had never came out and adjusted at all, and it proved that he's just a liar. Like, I'm actually curious on stuff that Gretchen's going to send me now because, like I said, I mean, it took 4 days of every second that I got free, which I don't get a lot of seconds free, but I mean, at least an hour in the morning, 2 hours where the baby was napping. While I'm cooking dinner, I was listening and reading stuff at night of nonstop, just going in, taking notes, and put in like, because I would like watch one thing on timelines and then do another. And I'm sure that's how the childhood's going to be too. So it's gonna take me like 4 or 5 days, but we can definitely talk about his childhood as some, not his childhood, but him as a
Yeah.
person, because this is more about like the abuse. And we can do that for sure. Giggles, you're amazing. Thank you. Yeah, it's a sad story. I've watched half a decade. My racist may not be available now. No, yeah, I'm gonna watch it because I need to. I'm like one of the people that have to like hear it and see it before I can explain it myself. You know what I'm like? Um, I'm a visual learner because I'm really ADHD, so I have to just like watch a video and I take it in that way. So I definitely know. I'm not saying that you're a liar at all. I know you wouldn't lie. You should come up and
Half
do the
decade.
panel with me
That's
about his
crazy. I
childhood.
agree.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Did you watch the documentary, Gretchen? I hate saying that word, by the way.
She
I
said
keep
she didn't
having
want
to
to
say it.
watch it because
Oh, she didn't.
she didn't want to watch it because if they got something wrong, about it. I don't even know if she would want to talk about it, but she should come up and talk about that. For sure, she knows. Like I said, I mean, I've watched Onision, but taking like a deep dive into him, I can't imagine the NTOs because it is like consuming. You know what I mean? There's just so much to it, and I'm sure I left stuff
They've
out.
been
Like,
able to make money off of this for years now because he has provided them with so much content. It's
yeah,
crazy.
Refsion bought his girlfriend's or his fiance's engagement ring from an Onision video. Like, that's the first video that went viral was Onision, and it bought his engagement ring for his fiance. Like, Repsion said that. He thanked Onision and said, thanks, you got me to.
Hey,
So,
Keith. Hey, Stephanie.
hey,
Great
Keith, I
name.
haven't seen you around. Did you used to like Onision, Nick Gretchen?
I didn't
We
know
should
who he
definitely
was
do. Mm-hmm. When did
before,
you figure it out?
like,
When did you?
the first video I seen about him. Like, I seen a video about him before I seen him ever. I didn't even know who he was before I seen, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, people in the anti-O community making videos about him. So that's when I found out who he was.
Oh, okay. I know that, like, be right. Your last live, you're on
Andy.
your channel, was you and Nikki about when Chris Hansen went to his house.
Mhm.
Um, and that was a good debate because I was in the chat too,
Yes.
and I was kind of on the opposite side of it than you guys were,
I
but it
still
was like
don't
a
even
good
know how I
debate.
feel about it now, to be honest. Like, I don't think it's a good idea because we're on YouTube, but Chris Hansen's not a YouTuber. So it's hard. And he
I
made a
know
documentary.
it is hard.
And look what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's different. Sandy, I'm just glad to see you. I hope you're doing okay. I missed you. Um, so it's hard because it's like, okay, he got results. And now that I've been going live, I do see things a little different because you got to remember, I had just started going live when you did that
Yeah.
live. I was pretty new. I was pretty green. Okay. So I didn't quite understand things the way that I do now. And now I see a little bit more what you and Gretchen were saying about you don't do that. This is YouTube. He's a journal. Your stance then was you don't bring your journalism to YouTube. It's a different It's a different, you don't get people's houses. And I get
Right.
that, but then I don't, I still see a little bit like, but he's Chris Hansen. Like,
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
It is different. It's
Hey,
it's
Nikki wants
something new.
something.
That's why it's like, is it okay? Is it not? I still say probably not a good idea just because other, like, it could start to be like a normal thing that, okay, you're investigating somebody, a YouTuber, so then you're going to go to their house. That just
Yeah, I mean,
seems
you don't want that to
strange.
become the normal. And I remember you were like, you'll open a can of worms. It's in your DM, Nikki. I DM'd you the link.
Yeah,
I remember you were like,
Katie,
it'll open a can of worms. Yeah,
Crystal Ball
it,
calls
it,
herself a
it is.
journalist. You know what I mean? She doesn't need to be showing up at people's house.
Yeah,
Do you
Crystal
know
Ball is a
about
whole
Crystal
nother girl
Ball?
we could talk about. I I know a lot about her. I follow all the
I
anti-Crystal
follow
Ball
her too.
channels because I used to like her. So, that's a whole nother, like, you could literally do a lot on her too because she is Keith, I hope you're doing okay, hon. Um, that's another like rabbit hole that I went down, through
Yeah,
time.
I like that. BS
That's one
Beast
that's
Boy.
getting sued. Like, yeah, BS Beast Boy, yeah, and he's also against Critical K. Have
I
you
like
watched the
him.
stuff
I think it's
about
funny.
Critical?
Yes, funny, entertaining. I like his channel a lot, and he's
Yeah,
really
me
logical
too.
the way he
Yeah,
looks at stuff.
yeah, I like him a lot. He's starting to come like to the true crime area a little bit, and I think that's neat. Like if he started covering some of the stuff that goes on over here, I think that'd be kind of neat, honestly, because he just covers Critical K right now. But I mean, she gives him enough
He has,
material for
yeah,
days, right?
he's done K
Yes,
videos.
he's debated her.
Video.
He's de- he's debated her and everything. Yes, Dobby Vanity. That's another one. Like I can make a community post, and you guys can let me know who you want to talk about next. I will. I know about all like a lot of these people. If I don't, I can let you know. I just don't know
I
about
think
it.
you all should pick Without a Crystal Ball, personally, because there's so
Oh my
much to
gosh,
talk about.
Yes.
not her.
And Dobby Vanity's another one. Do you know about that one, Steph?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
but that lawsuit
Hey,
that's
Nikki.
still
Hey,
going on right now is in its mind box. Like every day, it's like crazier and crazier.
An update.
who?
Yes, like somebody tried to hack the
So
Without a Crystal Ball
Tony,
and Toddy
Nobody
West. Yeah.
tried to hack Crystal Ball or the attorneys. Crystal Ball tried to do all that. That was a setup, just like the whole Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil called me.
do you think she's that dumb though to use her own email address?
Yeah.
I
Yes. She
wonder if
gets. Yes. She.
That is dumb.
I wonder if that misplaced chin implant that's pulling her to the left. I wonder if that's pulling her brain to the side a little bit. She needs to
Oh my God.
She's done a lot of dumb things, so it honestly wouldn't surprise me, to be honest.
Stephanie Lee. I said BS. God, I'm gonna get his name mixed up. Can you say his name,
I have a
Stephanie?
hard time saying it. B. I'm going to type it. I
B.
think it's
Okay. Thank
BX
you. BX
Beast
Beast Boy.
Beast
Boy.
Boy.
Yeah.
That's it. BX. It's a
BX.
tongue twister.
It's all one word.
Yes.
BX Beast Boy.
BX Beast Boy. Say it 5 times, guys. I'm not kidding, but hey,
Yes, I love
Sten.
Emily D. Baker.
Yes, me too. Yes, I watch her. I don't say a lot because I'm just not, it takes me a minute. I'm careful in chats
8,000
nowadays.
people in there
Oh,
yesterday.
Crystal Ball had on the Glare wheel and 10 to Life on today to talk about Critical K and
Did she?
the whole Michael Long is a liar. Because he is, by the way, in case you didn't know.
Oh, I've been watching that too. Yeah.
He left his wife and he's hooked up with one of the admins from his hate group. And nothing's true. It was all a hoax. And I'm sure Critical K is somewhere having a margarita talking about it at the bar.
Wait,
And
they think that though now? Glare and 10 to Life?
yeah, oh yeah. Annie went slap off. She called him out on everything, and then when he lied, she showed him the receipt. She said she wanted everybody refunded for the GoFundMe, or she wanted receipts for where it went. Even his law teams abandoned him.
Wow.
That girl needs to
How
get back to her
many?
mama, period.
Wow.
And not change anymore.
How many people is she going to back, though, that she's going to have to go back and go at them because she made the bad decision to back them in the first place?
Are you talking about 10 to Life? Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
yeah, I like her, but I just wish.
I can respect her for that, though. Like,
But didn't the same
Yeah, I
thing
like.
happen to the other guy?
Yeah, a few people. This is my thing. I think she's just got a big heart because she's very
Yeah.
nice. Like,
I
and
think
she
so
just
too.
wants to believe
That she
people.
gets involved
Um,
and she's like got this big heart.
hmm
She wants to see the best in everybody. But
Yeah,
like where some people just would double down because they don't want to be wrong, at least she's quick, but probably
she
before
is.
anybody even calls her on it. Like
Yeah,
she keeps digging, and like if she thinks somebody is like nobody would have known Michael was fucking the admin of the hate group at all had she not outed it last night on the glares. And I'm not a fan of the glare.
yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry about that, guys.
goofy grinning he does. Just I don't know.
You're
There's
okay.
something about that
She
man.
asked good questions too, like the hard hitting questions, even if it's going to make her look bad. She'll still ask them. I respect that.
And I respect
I
it.
like her.
I mean, she's
So
quick to
pretty.
retract her statements, or actually come out like if she's like going pro Stephanie, pro Stephanie, pro Stephanie, right? But then she
Yeah.
finds out Stephanie was in the wrong before anybody else gets a chance to out Stephanie. She'll be the first one.
Oh,
So
that's a great
I like that
point.
about her.
Yeah, that's a great point. She definitely does do that.
Because she was harder on Michael in that live last night than I think anybody else has been. She wasn't having it. She wasn't having it at all. She was like, I mean, you could just tell she come from a place like most females do, like where they think that, the girl's the homewrecker. And, I don't think she said that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what I mean. But she comes from that place we all can relate to where the girl's shady, like she should have known better. And she came from that place. And he's sitting there saying he was like, the reason they were separated was to work on their marriage and he could take a step back from social media. But his idea of taking a step back from social media was to take these polar opposite sides of the issue. You've got this one thing for sure, everybody is on the little girl side, right? But then you have
Right.
this side that thinks that Mike's coaching and think Kelly's innocent. And then you have this side over here that thinks Kelly's horrible and so are all the boyfriends she's had, and that Mike is just a protective dad, right? Well, then you have these hate groups that have spawned off from each of them, and he deletes both of his groups and decides he wants to start another group where both sides can coexist, and it can be like a medium, like a format where they can both come to some middle ground. There is no middle ground in sexual assault. You either did it or
No,
you
there's
did it.
not.
I don't
Yes.
anybody
What does
have open
middle
dialogue.
ground?
There is no middle to ground. It is
No.
black, it is white. It is the devil versus the Jesus. Like, there's no middle ground. There's no gray. You either fuck with those kind of people or you don't fuck with those kind of people. Why are you bringing them together? Unless, of course, which we know he's run out of GoFundMe money,
That's
unless
it.
you feel like you can use this new group where you have made this awesome, safe kumbaya space for these people to get along, and then you can con them right out of their money. But you need to go to jail. Michael Long, I hereby call now. You need to go to jail.
Man.
Courtney, stay
Yeah.
away. Get the camper when he's gone.
Get the camera. Yeah.
She seemed like she done so much and cared so much and wanted to help, and then
She does. No, she does.
just
And that's what
turned on.
Courtney did want to. Courtney's got their own kid together, right? And so she separates herself from the situation because she realizes as Michael's, sucked off all the money, she's like, I need to get out of this, situation. I'm going to take the son we have together, and I guess probably your parents move back in with my parents until this gets, settled over and we get this, under control. And then while he says, he's messaging her every day, he loves her, and he's taking a step from social media. No, you're not taking a step back from social media, though. You're working on a new group. Like, shouldn't you be, like, I get that, like, I can get Michael's side that he can do two things at once. He can work on his marriage while also working on these two groups. But when your marriage and the whole basis of your marriage and the foundation in which it was built on is all built on this entire thing that you've brought online to make public, and there's actual hate groups that have formed against each other. Like you working on the marriage is not bringing your haters, the people who doxed Courtney, who made her life a living hell, and then now you're fucking the main head man of the group of people who called you a pedophile. Alyssa with an E, that's your name.
Oh Lord.
And also talked poorly of the little girl.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
Yes.
was
Yes.
a lying, dramatic, habitually lying brat. But that's the girl that's currently living with Sophie in the Winnebago on the ranch. The woman
I
that
never
called her
understood.
horrible names is living with Sophie, and Michael has told Sophie that now Sophie's got it in her head that her mother's abandoned her, or that someone somewhere along the way has screwed things up, right? And she's what, 10? So she's been, living with her mother all this time. She gets ripped away from her mother for what I thought at the time was the right reason, and then she's just now probably starting to get back on her feet. She looks at Courtney, the stepmom, as like her lifeline, and who's good as gold to her and things like that. And then all of a sudden, one day Michael says, Courtney abandoned us. So now the only other female lifeline she had is gone. So if she bonds with anybody, it's going to be Alyssa with an E that that has been trashing her all over the internet. Like, get that girl out of there.
I
What
feel
a-
so bad. Like I was all for it at first. I'm gonna be honest. I was all for the removal of her. I want because I think that you have to get to the bottom of that. If it's true, you
You
need to get to the bottom of
always
it away
you
from the kid.
always want to take the child's side, always, always, always. But the reason that it ended up blowing up is because they ended. You know how he kept avoiding therapy. Like every time he was asked about it on YouTube or wherever, he would have an excuse for why
Yes.
he couldn't get him in therapy
Yep.
yet. Well, he finally couldn't push the therapy excuse anymore. And so I think the boys' therapy appointment was first. And then that they told the therapist, and this was all kept confidential. It wasn't until it got brought out in the public what the boy said to the therapist, that Daddy made Sophie make that up. And then when Sophie got her counseling appointment or her therapy session, apparently they had been, coaching Sophie behind the scenes after finding out what the boys had told their therapist. And so Courtney goes in with her therapist and says that she was just confused. It wasn't boys. It was actually her brothers. It wasn't her dad's boyfriends. It was actually her brothers. So they
See,
said
I
the
never
boys-
understood why they had to
Wait,
go on channels and talk all the time. Like, why? What was
no,
his
got an ego.
right. I would have
He
been.
beef
made
going
it.
on?
He even told on the Glaire's channel yesterday when they were like, well, he was like, this is my private life. And Glaire was like, look, I respect that most people don't want to talk about or answer the question whether or not they're having an affair on an open forum. I respect that. But we didn't ask you to bring your life public. You inserted your life into the public eye. You are now a public figure, and there's really nothing you can do about it except answer the question. So are you having an affair and all? Like, I'm not going to respect your privacy issues when you have put your privacy out there. Only when it's not convenient for you are you then going to backtrack and pretend like it's a privacy concern. No, that's
Well,
not
and
how
then
it
what
works.
about the whole world to know the private words that were said by her, and then the whole world gets to see it and judge her? She did make that decision, put that out there.
No,
She had no say so in that.
she's gonna grow up. She's gonna, it's gonna be what, 10 years from now. She's gonna be an adult, even sooner than that, to be able to Google her name. That stuff's still gonna be fresh enough on the internet. It's not gonna be like back in the MySpace days.
It's forever.
It's gonna be fresh enough online that she's gonna have to change her name. And like it's just like, I think it come to a head when they realized after the son said what they said at the therapist's office, that there was an emergency hearing that had the boys go back to live with the mom until Sophie could get her hearing. I mean, not her hearing, but Sophie could get her therapy, and for her to blame it on the kids again, that was she blamed it on. And see, a Critical K used to have this theory a couple months back. She said she thought what was going to happen is when, the money would run out questions would start to come. This was only a momentary thing. That a couple of months would go by and things were going to start. People were going to start wanting to know what is up. Why is nobody being arrested? Where is all the money? Those types of questions that would come up in a couple of months.
Right.
And she was afraid that what was going to happen. And I mean, I'm not even a fan of Critical K, but she's got some good points. And she said, what is going to happen when all that does take place and, you're basically, your feet are being held to the fire? Like, who are you going to blame when you can blame anybody but yourself? Kay came up with the theory that what was going to happen was he was going to blame Courtney. He was going to blame Courtney by saying, because Courtney has a history of sexual abuse when she was younger, that Courtney is the one that's warped in the head, and that Courtney was bringing all this stuff to her, and that it was actually Courtney, because it was all like, if you look at the timeline events and all the things that were done, like it was always Michael having Courtney take her to these doctor's appointments. He didn't work, and we always used to ask, why is Courtney doing it? Why is Michael not taking her? He don't work. Courtney did, but he didn't. But him setting her up to always be the one to take her to the doctor. He was the one that was setting her up to be the one recording people. He was the one setting her up to go to make those pages and to make those hashtags and to reach out and, kind of do like community outreach in regards to the situation. And Michael's just kind of been like, I'm just trying, like, he's always maintained, I just want what's best for my daughter. He's not the one out in the street doing the most. He's not out here really campaigning. Right. He's just been sitting back being like the face of it all. And so Kay said he was going to throw Courtney under the bus. And here it is. The heat is on. Courtney is gone. And nobody has said Courtney did anything, but like when he was talking to the Glare and Amy last night, they were talking, like Glare was talking about how good Courtney was, and he would give her this backhanded compliment, and I can't think of one to quote, but the things that he was saying, it was like he was pointing it to being Courtney's fault. And I was like, if Critical K is right about that, I may become a Patreon.
Well, yeah, listen, not for nothing. From the time she seen the video, she said that she felt like it was a setup and that it wasn't, that she just didn't believe it. And she was,
I
believed it from the beginning. For that. I thought that I'm with Amanda. I believed that in the beginning. I thought that girl was truly terrified.
Yeah, but I'm saying that.
Yeah, and I can't get on board with her like saying that she was
mortal sin. You know what I mean? But it
but
comes
she
out
said,
that was true. What's wrong with that?
She also said she was a liar. She was a little brat. Like, I can't get on board with some of the things that I've heard her say. I get that she might be right, but Kay, yes. When she called her a little brat and all that.
Her saying her opinion on the video.
But listen, we're all
and being right about her opinion.
Separate yourself from that for a second. Separate yourself from what we know about the situation. We're all mothers up here. How many, whether you've called your kid a brat or not, how many times has your kid done something where you looked over at your husband or your mother or whomever and said, do not give her that ice cream cone, she's just being a brat?
I think that bothered people.
Yeah, definitely. But
they believed the video.
Well, no,
they thought it was truth.
And regardless, the little girl has something going on. Like, I don't know what it is, but there has to be.
What the
either way, yes.
By her father.
Either way, no matter which way it ends up being, it's definitely abuse.
And like at the time, there was no proof that it wasn't true. So at the time, like, she could think she's a little brat all she wants, or she could think she's a little liar, but maybe just some of the stuff she says, I kind of cringe, right? But if she was right about that, that is.
I mean, I didn't go out on a limb saying I thought she was being a brat or anything like that. But I mean, I know we've all called our kids a brat, even if not directly to their face, because of something.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get you saying she could have held her tongue a little bit or whatever.
There was a lot of emotions involved in that, and people were acting off of the way that their emotional reaction was to that video, one way or the other.
Now? Didn't she just turn like 11?
Yeah, I think
I
so.
don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Hmm.
they keep
I think
dragging
she's,
out this whole
yeah,
court thing that by the time they're done, Onision will be ready for her. So I don't know. Who cares? Hey, my daughter,
that's crazy.
Onision can pick her up in a doctor in what 3 more years.
Oh my God, stop it.
She does, she may have a
Stop
better
it.
life than she
You're getting
currently
close.
does, living with a like that was my
That's
biggest
sad.
deal,
That's sad.
that he didn't want Sophie in an environment where she had to live basically with a revolving door of men coming in and out. Okay, what's the difference with you having a revolving door of your Facebook group admins blowing you in your Winnebago? What is the difference? Just because it's a woman, women abuse too, my dude. Like,
But the
Oh,
mother's
Lord.
story is that though he has done this sort of thing to her forever, to the mom by
well,
like
like
accusing her and
they did this timeline of behavior and certain earmarks of the behavior, like things that he would call them. Like how whenever a guy breaks up with a girl, especially if he's abusive, he'll call her crazy and stuff. Well, he did that to like he had a first wife that he told Kelly that she was all these things, right? And then so Kelly ended up with him, and then he ended up getting with Courtney, telling her the same thing. And then last night on a live stream, he basically he had it written down or something, but every single thing he said about his first wife to Kelly and everything he said about Kelly to Courtney, he is now saying to Will and Annie about Courtney. It's like, bitch, you are not attracted to all of these messed up women. Maybe you're the problem.
yeah.
And how did they all do those things? What are the chances that they all did those things? You're out of it. And then he's talking about how he needs to do this. Like he was telling Will, he needed to do this for his social image. And I think that really rubbed Annie off guard, because she was like, what image?
What does
What
a
is your
social image have
social
to do with
image?
anything?
What does anything about you have to do with anything? This is not about you,
Exactly.
Michael. And it's never been about you. Period. And the fact that you're running around here acting like you've got to repair your reputation is part of the problem, and proving what everybody has said about you, that you're doing this for your own satisfaction, that this has fuck to do with your daughter and everything to do with about how Michael looks, and it's a quick buck, and my ego is the only thing that matters. You
Even
can
when he
prove that
answers
all by saying
questions,
you had to change your image.
if you listen to the way that he answers questions, it's weird. It's
Okay, first of all, Stephanie, he doesn't answer questions.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yes, he speaks around everything.
I have never heard that man ever answer a single question. He has walked me around
No,
many bushes, but he has
he's
never
like a
answered a question.
politician.
When she asked him point blank,
And
period, she said, "This
that's
is
what I
a
was trying
yes
to say.
or." She went, "This is a yes or no question, Michael. Yes or no? That's all I want to hear from you. Did you have an affair with Alyssa, the admin from your haters Facebook group?" And he said, he repeated the question. He said, "Did I have an affair? Blah, blah, blah." And she said, "Yes or no, Michael. Did you have an affair? Yes or no. Those are the only two options you have." And he said, "Well, so about the Facebook book. So what I was going to do, I was going to try to build a bridge between them." And she goes, "I don't give a fuck why you did what you did with your Facebook group. Did
Yeah, by
you
the
or
time it gets to
did
the
you not
end,
have an affair?"
you don't even remember the question anymore. It's like what was he asked? Because
I
it's
posted in chat
a
last night. I
whole
was like,
different
"Dude, you're
tangent.
fucking exhausting, and I'm going to bed." Like, that's what you are.
Yes.
You are exhausting. I can see why
Um,
nobody wants to fucking argue with you. They just want to go to bed or fucking leave, because you give me a headache. Like, the arguing you do is top level. I don't know what kind of degree or what kind of job would benefit you with your manipulation skills, but it's not even good manipulation. Nobody's buying it. We're just tired of hearing it. Like, put a sock in it, suck a dick. I don't care, but shut the fuck up.
I'm sure they feel a
my
little bit
God,
like
Nikki.
betrayed by him too, because they believed
Yes.
what he said and took it at face value, and and put their channels on the line to get his message out, and it's just
Well,
like
Amy, I don't think she
Yeah.
put her channel on the line, because she had just started her channel. So now she has a channel. So now I can see where she would be cutting ties. But in the beginning, she didn't have a channel. So
right.
I can see where she felt okay sticking her neck out. Will's Will. Who cares? But like, my thing is like, like you're not going to get anywhere. Like, I'm hoping
Oh
I know
God.
that Annie had said something about how she had recorded their phone call, at least one or two of their phone calls. And I'm
Yes.
hoping Will did too. And Josh from the Dad podcast, because, I hope they did. If they're in true crime, uh, I mean, come on, they've got to, please. I hope to God they've recorded the phone calls.
With something like this isn't like a personal. This is like, to cover their own
No, he's
asses,
willing
really.
Yeah,
to
especially
do
if
or
you're,
lie about something like that. Could
yes,
you imagine what he's willing to say about them if they
if
don't
you're
have
like,
it recorded?
they all represent themselves to some degree.
What's that noise?
That was freaking me out just a little bit.
Sounds like
Like
a dog.
I don't know what that was, but that was weird as fuck. Anyway,
they all represent to some degree that there are, a reporter or a journalist, and a reporter and a journalist always records their interviews so that they can listen to it themselves in case they missed anything. We miss a lot of things when we're speaking. It doesn't make you shady. So I'm hoping they had enough sense to record these calls. And if I were them, I'd release them, because I'm so curious to know how they talk in a normal conversation. And if he talks like he did on that live stream with Josh, with Will, or with Annie, like that, and they continue to be his friend, they're just as fucked up as he is. Because you can't get no, like, I swear, if he was giving me directions from point A to point B, I would have gone 16 laps around A before I even went in the right direction for point B.
She
He
said
was
she
so
felt
lost,
like
I
he
didn't know
was
where I was.
like in private, and he was open and honest with answering questions. But you also have a different perspective when you go back and think about it once you
I
know it.
gotta wrap this up within like the next
Party
couple minutes
pooper.
because I have a movie night with a couple people, my
No
movie
more
day,
movies.
and no
No
more movies.
more movies.
And they have been waiting for me like for a little while, and I feel
Yeah,
horrible.
me
So
too.
I'm on my way, Diane, I'm on my way. I'm gonna watch a movie, but if you guys want to, we can definitely go live more about this. And Steph, I'm gonna do one more Onision thing because I want to talk more about Justin as a person, and we can play those voicemails if you want.
Okay.
If you
Yeah. I'll get them ready for us.
I mean, I could
okay.
go live all day long with this whole Michael Long thing because I'm like in that rabbit hole. But I have been out of the. I mean, I'm retired from Onision. Like, I can answer the questions that I have.
Diane,
But
I love
Onision,
y'all,
dead horse.
but I can't be
mate.
going to watch a movie tonight. I got things to do, really important
So she
things.
said
Like
no more movies,
play a
Diane. No
flight
more.
exciting game. But I will next time.
Well, Gretchen, I'm gonna message you because a lot of people in the chat actually wanted to talk about this Michael Long thing. So maybe we could do a live about it. What is tomorrow? Okay, maybe Saturday night we could do a Michael Long live if you have time.
I have nothing to do. I have no life anymore.
Okay, thank you, November Rain, and I'll do Onision maybe.
Homework,
Maybe
guys. Tell the chat they need to go to the Glarish channel and watch
And
the
Crystal
video
Ball, too.
titled, what is it
yeah,
called?
on Crystal Ball. Yeah,
No, you don't
I
got to
got a
watch that one.
couple.
You absolutely
No,
do not have to.
I got a couple lives coming up, so we're gonna do Crystal Ball, we're gonna do Michael Long, and I got one more Onision live that I'm gonna do
Woo-hoo!
early next week. So yay, we're getting away from like all the bullshit for a little while. But I gotta wrap this up. Thank you guys all for coming. I love you guys.
Bye, y'all.
Love
Um,
you. Good night,
Thank you,
guys.
Nikki. Thank you, Steph and
Leave this
Stephanie.
up.
Appreciate
Leave
you.
this up, Amanda, so I can go back.
Bye.
I missed it.
I am. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, it's up. Bye.